helps you out, but.
John coming?
The camera.
Pardon?
No, he's in New York City.
Oh, okay.
God bless you.
He's
There was a book that showed him too.
his
Was it 67?
newest granddaughter. They're doing the christening.
Okay. Yeah, the new ones, forget it. More the merrier, that's what I say.
Are we on?
We're on.
Like
Has
you come
everyone
to the
signed
house and
the
then you go
attendance
home.
sheet? Okay. We're all good to go, Jim.
Let's open the meeting with a pledge to the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Well, it's been a short couple of days to try to get all the questions we had the other night put together, resolve some things. There's still a lot more to be done. And that'll give us 2 days, Monday and Tuesday, to get ready for the, hopefully the final budget workshop where we can turn this over to Darlene as a tentative and then go to the preliminary. So the excitement today is to grind through a few more numbers here. I know that there were a number of things that we still had up in the air, and probably I'm going to tell everybody that by the time we get done Tuesday, there's probably going to still be a lot of things that are left up in the air. Without a roadmap, this has been, and I keep saying it over and over, but every day I come in here, and I've been in every day, and Linda has worked on this, and Ed has looked at all this stuff every day. The more we look at it, the more we find and the more questions we have. So as we go through this, we'll do the best we can to get something that's stable and usable for next year, and the work will continue. And as Linda and I just spoke about, hopefully get this in a situation where after we get this final budget for this year, we can lay out a better roadmap for ourselves next year and for people that follow. And hopefully nobody else ever has to come into the kind of situation that we're in now. So I'd like to open this up. I can cover a few things that I found yet, and then Linda and Ed, I'm sure you've got a number of questions. I think that I wanted to bring out, and I think that we need to, if we look at the general town-wide and look on the first page, actually the second page, excuse me. You have to bear with me. I'm pretty fuzzy with this cold, but one of the questions that we had that we seem to have come to is the A1440.4 on the second page, the general town-wide in appropriations. That is where all of the bridge money for Medina needs to go. And that's what part of that 6,414 that was spent this last year in the actual. We only paid Medina about 3,000 something. I don't know what else is in that, but I can tell you via the contract, I was wrong last week in saying that it was the last payment. What was the last payment this year? Next year is the final year of this, And according to the two agreements that I've scanned through and working with Jada from the village, we're gonna have to put 40,000 in that for the bridge next year. And just so nobody gets upset about another 40,000, that's offset by money that part of the grant. So that'll be evened out. So it is another 40,000 expense that the village is putting on us. I don't want anybody to get that opinion.
So we're gonna keep the 5 in that's there and then add 40, so we'll have 45?
I think so, because I don't know what else came up with that 6,400. If there's something else being coded,
Okay.
that
Okay.
makes it a little more difficult to ascertain that. And part of the issue is that and I know everybody's trying as best they can. I'm not trying to slam anybody, but different items got coded differently. So when you're trying to look at a budget line, you almost have to go through check by check to see where did that check get put in. And was it supposed to be there? That's one of the, certainly one of Linda's big elements in order for us to do a better job on the budget today and next year, is to understand where is the money being put in for, so that we can follow it better in the next budget cycle.
So where are we gonna put the income?
For that, that's a good question. I don't know. That's something I thought of just before I went home last night. So, I don't know whether there's a line in there. We'll have to put the revenue in. I'll research the codes and see if there's a particular code that would match that, and then we'll put it in that line, put the 40,000. So
How about why don't we,
I didn't see anything there unless you do.
well, but I'm just thinking, I'd like to get it in there just so that we don't, but if we put it into like sales other for right now with a note next to it that it's
Sure.
bridge money, and then we will look to where we need to, what real money it goes to,
Sure.
just so it's there and we're not.
Yeah, because we already got sales other than with unknown. So why not? Yeah, that's a good place to put it. Let's do that. So at least from a budget standpoint, we understand the revenue offset the.
Yep.
Yes. Also to go up to a little bit further in the revenues, we have an A1.70, the franchise tax.
Mhm.
That is real. Every cable company, when they entered a township or a village or a city, had to agree to a franchise agreement, which included payments. I don't know whether that's a yearly payment. That is a real. I do have to cancel the check that did come from Charter this last year. I don't see it accounted for in previous years, so I don't know whether that is. I'm going to have to try to find the contract to see whether it's an ongoing yearly fee, which doesn't show up in the previous year. It should be a yearly fee. Yeah. From a franchise agreement. Yeah. I'll have to go back and see if I can find the agreement. Contact Charter and see if I hate to go to them to ask. That's going to be a nightmare. Maybe someday I can find it. It probably goes back to when, who knows? It probably goes back 20 years.
Does Ridgeway have a tower too? Maybe they.
I can call them. It's not even a tower. It's just even for them to lay lines in your town to service your village,
Yeah,
your
so
area.
they might know if you're getting it
Yeah.
every year.
And I've called Brian. I got a couple other things, so I'll call Brian on this one.
Yeah. Or just, we could always go back to them and look too for, tell them we need a copy of the contract or something.
Well, going into Charter and finding who would have the contract for the franchise might be, I might be able to.
Yeah,
I'd still know a few people in the cable industry in Rochester. Maybe they'll be able to help me. Because that's a nice little sum. If we could get that every year, 23,000, almost 24. Okay. I think I don't know whether you The only one that I still have that we haven't made a decision on is in A 1990.4 in the revenue section, was whether we wanted to put anything in that contingency fund. Any thoughts on that?
My personal opinion is yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think just because we just don't have enough knowledge on the other lines, and while on paper it looks like we should be able to do what we've been doing,
Mm-hmm.
because we don't have good data to look at and be sure, I'd rather just have a little bit of a cushion, because as we see from here, we don't have a lot of cushion
No,
sitting in cash.
I think so I think we'll keep the 50K in there.
I think so. What do you think, Ed?
Uh, well, I like to go through everything and then we'll decide what kind of tax we're gonna have before I make a decision.
We're sitting right here right now
Yeah,
at 455.
yeah.
I guess the only reason I think about putting it in there, Ed, is that I got to tell you every day that I go home, and I can tell you what they will attest to when I get home, pulling these gray hairs out of my head because I'm finding all kinds of things that I had no idea that we and how much we don't know yet, and how little documentation I'm sure exists here in the building someplace, but trying to find it is um, problematic, and so that's my only feeling, and that's up. Certainly would like to leave that there. If you want to wait until Tuesday to put that in or not put it in, but
No,
that's
you can leave it in there now and we'll see what we come up on Tuesday.
okay.
So the other thought is, which is not going to be a popular,
Mm-hmm.
sorry, but I'm just,
Yep, it's all right.
is maybe take, it's not a lot, but if we're looking to try to keep that and try to help offset something
Yep.
else, maybe we take out, sorry, Darlene, but the conferences for a year and just see.
Yeah, I agree. For 1 year, it'd be good. Unless it's, I don't know if there's any mandatory conferences, but I mean,
I think that,
just, like, oh, Dan probably has
certification.
certification.
So does Ed.
So,
Those two we probably need to keep up. But I don't think people. I know there was some comment last week about why do we need $1 million in the funds. We don't really have $1 million in the funds that we can access. And I'm going to repeat this next Tuesday because I think it's worth everybody understanding. We do not collect enough revenues today to pay for a cut down budget as it exists even. We'll be very close. And you could say, well, why did they build some money in the past? Well, prior to COVID, prices were substantially different, and the tax revenue was almost the same as it is today because we don't grow. So tax revenue at lower costs provided some amount that went into reserve funds. When COVID hit, we all know what happened to prices. And I'll give you an example. Salt, which again is part of the learning process. I had no idea, went from 30 some dollars a ton to 60 some dollars and change per ton. So when we talk about what kind of costs have risen for the town, that's only one small element of it. They didn't purchase equipment, and we can all argue about whether Dale needed to purchase 2 new trucks in 2 years, but that should have been done and saved for over time, and it wasn't. Right now, what we have in cash to fund this is marginal. In fact, in cash, we only have um, $33,000 for the DB fund if we can't fund it out of taxes. So while you look at that $1 million, and some of it, for some reason, we've got to research it, in special reserve, which is reserved for capital expenditures, special capital. I don't know what that is, and can we touch it? I don't know, because we don't really have any special capital projects that may be attached to it. So we're very limited in the amount of cash out of that $1 million that we got. So hopefully at the end of this, we don't need to tap that a whole lot. But it's not just this year, ongoing. If we cut to the bone, I don't know that we may find that we cut too far and that we, need to attack that reserve funds. And it isn't just for this year. What about next year, the year after, and the year after? Because the tax base is not growing. And unless we can find additional revenue, I'll tell you right now, property taxes do not pay for this. Not anywhere near it. It's other revenue like the pilots. It's other revenue like a franchise tax, which is only 27. It's sales tax, and, and all of that. And we'll find out where we end up when we get done with the budgeting. It's going to be pretty close. So I can tell you that by using the reserve funds for the last number of the years after COVID, they masked the fact that expenses had increased so much that the taxes no longer kept up with the expenses.
Well, and the ARPA money helped.
Well, that was the other big
Right.
thing. Thank you.
Yeah.
Because right after COVID, the towns got ARPA money. It was a savior in so many ways, but again, it masked the overall problem that the expenses exceeded our income. So the board is now faced with a situation where we have to maintain services with limited resources. And so I know, like I said, I think the question came up about why we have so much in cash. A lot of that could be eaten if we're not careful, and then there's nothing for a rainy day or for another truck. By the way, we have trucks that are 20 years old out there. Another one that's 26 that really is the backup truck. So those trucks are used pretty heavy for snow plowing, and they're in snow and ice. That's a lot of years. I don't know how many people here have 20-year-old cars other than John for his Corvette, but you got, that's right, you got one. So to expect trucks to last like that long is we're pressing. We have 2 new trucks, and again, we can all talk about whether that was necessary or not. They're done, paid. That'll hold us, but we do have to look to the forward also about what kind of money we have and when we're going to use it. So I just want that on record. Is there anything else in the general town-wide that we need to address?
I don't have anything else written on.
Ed?
Now, what was the reasoning of cemetery personal services? Originally, we were gonna cut it in half.
What number are you?
Yeah.
8810.1. They only use $600, $700 out of 16,000.
Yeah, I thought we were,
Well, I think part of that was because we're not, the $680, we don't think is correct. They're not recording the payroll. Dale was gonna go back and look at the payroll sheets because
yeah. And I
it
haven't
seems to
done
me
that.
like they would have, but maybe not. Maybe there just really wasn't that much, but
I think there must be.
It-
I think that I thought originally we were going to, I thought cut it to 8
Yeah.
and cut it in half, and I'm okay with that instead of 10.
I think for next year, we could always add it on the year after, but I think next year at least 50% cut on that.
Okay.
well, I think here's the key though. We need to know it as a total
Right.
what
Yeah.
the MEOs use and then go back and total all the .1s for them to
I know,
determine that
yes.
we have the right
And
amount.
I can try to do that
You know, that we're
Monday.
allocating.
Yeah, I just didn't have time
Yeah,
to do
that's
that.
fine. I'm just, but I
I
think,
know that was on the list.
yeah, because we don't want to just pick a number here because
Well, see, I can
total
remember
.1s for them has to equal whatever their salary is.
the, I know
Time.
I know that when this discussion came up in the last budget process, it went from 8, which was originally in the 23-24, and they
Yeah,
that he wanted to double it so that he could do more work in the cemeteries. So it was always 8 prior to that, and
Mhm.
that's why I thought, it's either 10 or 8, I don't care, one of the two,
mhm.
to cut it from. I don't think we need the 16, but you're absolutely right.
I don't think in the past we've looked at the total
Oh,
for all
no.
of them, so we need, you know,
No,
Yeah, it's on my list, and certainly Monday will hopefully provide me some time um, to spend some time on that and see if I can.
well, and I think we have to also address while we're on the point one, is, how much overtime?
mhm.
Didn't,
I don't know
what
yet.
did he, I forget what he said, he's asked for,
800 hours, wasn't it?
750 or
I
800.
thought it was 400.
Let me again.
I don't remember.
There's so many numbers in my head. I'm telling you, it's.
I talked to,
Was it maybe it was 800, because you talked to,
I talked to a neighbor in town, and they normally, the overtime is specifically for during the winter months when they're doing snow plowing,
Yeah.
and it should not be used any other time, you know?
Well, let me have. Those are things that you brought up last time about the point ones. Okay, and I have not gotten to them. Let me check on overtime
Yeah.
also.
Okay.
so I think the other question, which I don't know, maybe you do, Ed, is what's the policy in the highway department as far as when guys are, can everybody just take the same time off? Because you're right, it's
Yeah.
about managing. The village is struggling with this right
Yeah,
now, and
I know.
certainly I've learned a lot from going to their meetings, that are we managing the days off that, so that we don't have two people off at the same time, so
Yeah.
that,
I don't know that. That falls under the purview
and
of and as I've said before, we can make suggestions as a board.
yes, but I think we need to understand how that is being managed, so we can manage
I
the
would
budget.
I would absolutely agree with
So
that.
the other question is, are we permanently, maybe Darlene, are we permanently on 410s in the highway department?
I don't know that.
Because I know that,
Right now, it seems to be that way.
okay, because that's a key thing too.
Yeah, that's
That's
another
gonna
thing.
create a lot of overtime.
Yep.
Because the town doesn't shut down on Fridays.
I think the village right now is back to 5/8.
Well, what I'd like to do is either 5/8, Ed, or I'd like to go offset tens. If they
Let's
want to
go
work
2
tens,
on, 1.
I've done that before at other
Yeah.
places where people wanted to have a Monday or have a Friday off. I don't care which,
Mhm.
but overlap so that you have at least 5
Yes.
days coverage.
Or
Yeah.
Monday through Thursday,
Yeah.
or
I'll make,
Tuesday to
again,
Friday.
make those suggestions
Yep.
and we'll press it.
Mhm.
But as we know,
But I think that's gonna be a key as to whether the taxpayers have to pay overtime or not.
Well,
now it's
kinda
also one of
do.
those things getting called in on a Friday. We've already experienced that, I think, just recently where we had a water leak and nobody was around on Friday to address it. So,
Mhm.
Which is gonna happen on the weekend, but you're cutting down,
That's
at least if
different
you're
on the
coming
weekend.
Monday,
You're not-
Fridays,
you're not-
right?
I like
Covered
the
during the
idea of
week.
the overlap, just have not had that discussion
Or
at this
all
point.
aids, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, but
Mhm.
I think the key is, you're right, we can't control it, but we do have to understand what it is so that we can budget appropriately. But I think maybe Dale hasn't thought about it, maybe he has, I don't know, but
I
by
think that,
doing that, it could be creating a lot of overtime, even,
Mhm.
especially even in the summer months,
oh, absolutely.
because things do go wrong in the summer too.
Yeah, be honest, I've kept Dale pretty busy. Part of the things I worked on yesterday was to get him canceled checks to put in for the um, CHIPS money. So that's 240 some thousand. So, because you have to spend it first.
Mhm.
So he doesn't have access to Tompkins. So, I've been working with him to get all those canceled checks so that he can get put in. So there's been a number of issues, but these certainly I'll take up with him on Monday.
So I would think a key to that is there's certain things that have to be tracked like that, and when we pay certain invoices, they're gonna go to checks. If you let single source know,
Right.
they can create a file, they'll say that at the end of the year, you just.
Now that I'm finding this out, I think that's not a bad idea, but
Yeah.
again, 4 weeks into it, that's a great idea. We'll certainly put that in place. And single sources, and between Margaret and John, it's just, I don't know what we do up to them at this point. Uh, Still have not resolved the state retirement. I know John Cassini's working on it. I got an email with my password, no, with my sign-in login to help administer that, and then said that there would be a letter following in 3 to 5 business days that would give me my password. So I don't have that yet. So that's just those kinds of things that we're running into every day. So as soon as I get my password, I can get in there. Hopefully, we're single so to get it caught up on time. I know they're very well aware of this and are looking for some guidance and help in getting that resolved. So until we do, I think we need to, we'll leave that at 40K because it looks like history shows that that's about what it's running us.
Mhm.
Anything more on that section, Ed, on the A general?
No.
Okay. Uh, the B fund, it's a little simpler. I should tell you that zoning put a letter into me Thursday looking for a laptop. I think they've got enough money in their zoning equipment budget. I'm going to recommend to them it's for $796 from CHCC. Currently, one of the members of the board, board of appeals is using their own laptop, and I'd like to get one for zoning. It's 796. I think that, I don't know, does anybody have a problem with just telling them to go ahead with that since they already have it in budget? It's not additional money. It's not
I'm
budget.
good with it,
Mhm.
with the understanding that we are gonna start keeping a file
Sure.
and record of the laptops, printers.
They're supposed to be. I thought that Beth had all that.
Well, we're gonna have to make sure that it
Not
gets,
that I heard of, we asked for
I
that.
almost think too, we've got a couple of laptops in the vault that we are not using.
Well,
Really?
There you go.
I think they were changed out when we got new.
depends on
laptops.
how old they are, because I know
Oh,
that
yeah, that's true.
They
probably-
might not
if
handle
they're on
Windows
Windows 10, if they won't do 11, and all our systems are on 11, 10's not supported anymore.
Beth might have, what they
Yeah.
did do way back, or, like a year ago, Beth did go around and do a inventory, but what she did was to my understanding, and if I'm wrong, I apologize, but
Yep.
to my understanding, she went around and looked at what we have.
On
What
site.
we need is to know what are we buying and make sure we still have it
Mm.
year after year, that it didn't,
Right.
Yeah, there needs to
get
be a
lost
better
or
asset
damaged
list.
or walked out of here or something. The point is you want to make sure that you're accounting for the things you actually purchased.
Right.
So that's what I'm not sure we've done in the past. So
Right.
we need to make sure we have a tracking system for, the
Well,
cameras,
we can check,
the
I can check
video
that,
and audio equipment.
I can check that we can check the 2 laptops that are in storage. If they're not usable because of their
Mhm.
operating system, I'd say that they do have the money in their budget that
Yep.
look like they've used much. Let them
Yep.
go ahead and purchase it, and then, yes, and address the asset
Tracking of
list,
it.
and the tracking of the asset list.
Because these fall underneath the asset
Mhm.
threshold for
Mhm.
auditing.
But we
But-
need to see it.
Correct. We still should keep a list of these.
Okay. And really need to find out too, if we look at it, stay on the appropriations in the general fund outside. I don't understand the B 20.1 where it was budgeted for 3120 and planning personnel services, yet there's nothing in there. So do we need to budget 33,120 in that line if it's never used?
Is that for salary?
That's what I'm wondering, is that the amount?
then-
That's for chairman, I think, isn't it? Like the planning board, like Kirk Hill and,
That's
Yeah, but
true.
doesn't that come out of the other,
well,
why?
where's the money been coming from if it hasn't moved?
Well, it's probably in the planning contractual, which there's
yeah,
2195 in for actual expenditures this year. So why are we budgeting another line for 3,000? We got 4,000 in the other planning
Right.
line that seems to be used. I'll check into that and see why, and I'll try to, Kurt's been out, I think he's back. I'll get a hold of him and see if we can track down what they assign, because did they code their expenses themselves?
No, but I think there shouldn't be 80-20.1, and if it's contractual, I'm gonna look back and see how that was coded, because I've been coding them lately. But I would think that it should come under personnel services, don't you think?
I would think so,
I
if
mean,
that's what it is.
he's got mileage, and that would be the contractual,
Mm-hmm.
but I would think that his like just coming into a meeting and getting the $40 for the meeting, that should be under personnel.
Correct.
personnel.
I-
And that is what's going in there. Their monthly payments are going into contractual.
That's what I
not
figured by
personnel.
looking
Right.
at it, because,
yeah.
Yeah.
so we only need one line item, we need two, but we don't need $7,000 total in the
No.
two of them.
No.
So I think if the coding has been incorrect, 2195 is actually pretty close besides the mileage. Then we need to adjust the personnel services and maybe leave the 3120 in there. And then reduce the 4,000 in the contractual if all that's going in there is mileage and some other,
Mhm.
I agree.
okay.
So what do you want to make the 4?
I would make one, and then we'll truck it, I'll look into it, but right now I'm gonna drop it down to 1K. Because mileage shouldn't exceed, it's just.
No.
No, it's just going to Orleans County and.
So let's put a 1K in there. 3120 in the other. Anything else that you see in the general fund outside?
I want to go back to that workers' comp.
Mm-hmm.
That might be something that, a phone call to Tompkins, because I did do a little bit of research on that, and it looks like you can either self-insure or insure through
Right.
like NYMAR or
Right,
New York State Insurance Fund. I don't know which we're doing,
I don't either.
and so
I'll give
I
them a
would
call.
think they would know if they're insuring us, whether they're doing something or.
Okay, the refuse and garbage contract, they're gonna use $400. Oh, no, wait a minute, actual in 25 was only 400.
Yeah, that's been confusing,
Is that, maybe
because we have a
lumped
monthly
into the-
payment, and I haven't been sure, I haven't found, I gotta look to see where that's been going.
Maybe it's been going in, to the
'Cause there's-
buildings.
That's
Yes.
why we're going into the general, the
Yeah.
buildings.
Yeah,
So we don't need 2,500 in there. It'd be interesting to find out what did go.
mhm,
But if you look at past years, were they putting, and then see, that's part of the problem of tracking anything. Past years, it may have all been going into that, and now it's going into buildings, and it really should go into its own line.
yeah,
So we either leave the 2,500 and get, so we're tracking it by making sure that the refuse bills
they
do
still have our
get
B.
coded into there.
I think I've been coding them into B just recently when I started.
Okay,
So that's where they should go, right?
yes.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I think they've been going to another fund, because when I'm looking in here, there is only one invoice in the B fund, so it's
Yeah.
gotta be in a different fund.
Right. So let's make sure we start coding those. We'll leave the 2,500 in there, because it looks like in past years, it's been 2,000.
Then where would you take it out of? I mean,
Well, then it looks like if it's been in buildings contractual, we need to make sure that
Yeah.
it is. And if it has been there, then we'll need to take a little money out of the buildings contractual.
So you think it's in the A fund? It's buildings.
You
There
talk
it
about
is.
A, you find it?
1620.4. Okay, let me look.
Wouldn't,
And the bills are like 260 something a month
yeah,
with refuse.
wouldn't garbage and refuse be town-wide though? I mean, it's just not town of Shelby, it's outside the village.
Yeah.
It is just outside the village.
Yeah, it is here, but I mean,
Well, it's only for, I don't think they do anything in the village.
no.
No, they don't, because the village has their own, it looks like it's in.
Alright, so then they were putting it into town, or the
Yes,
town-wide
it's in
one.
the aid fund.
Yeah.
And does it look like it's in there?
1620, yeah.
And it shouldn't be in there.
So we should move at least 2,500 out of the buildings. Which line is that, Linda?
1620.4.
Okay.
I cannot do, I don't wanna do that and just move it because there's more to moving it between funds. They have to make adjustments, so
Yep.
I would just let Margaret know that that has to happen.
Yep, we're just, okay.
Yep.
We'll let it go.
It's not I can do it, but it's not an easy fix that.
Yeah.
I don't wanna screw up what they do.
Excuse me. I'll double check on what the refuse charge is per month, because if it's, I thought it was like
It's
260.
216.
It should be on-
216, so the
on the
2,500
voucher,
could
yeah.
cover us.
And
Okay,
that's what it was this year, so
okay.
whatever it is next
For
year.
some reason, I was thinking it was 260, but 2,500 wouldn't cover it, but
It's
216, okay. So we can leave the 2,500 at the B refuse line, and that should cover it.
Yeah, it looks like it's 216.89 or something
Yep.
like that. Yeah, they're all in there.
Now the constable personal services, now that was moved to the court.
We're gonna drop that. I didn't do it this year, just we got it in the, so we won't have constable for here.
No, but I mean, is it, it wasn't added to the, was it, we were paying for everybody, the court and us?
No.
Oh, no?
No,
All right,
The court's always had it.
so was it, added, or our part wasn't added to the
No.
courts then?
no,
No.
we're not gonna have a constable.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to
Yeah.
ask Jim not to come in. I figured let him finish out the year,
Yeah.
maybe.
yeah,
Beginning January 1,
Yep.
there hasn't been too many uprisings in the meetings, and hopefully we don't have any. Although, I'm gonna say, if we do that, and we have a full board come January 1, we're gonna have to take turns coming in and turning on the lights and
Mhm.
making sure things are set up, so, because right now, that's what Jim does mostly. It isn't security, comes in, turns on the lights, gets things set up, unlocks the doors. So one of the board members, we're all gonna have to take a turn to come in and do that, so otherwise we have to pay for it.
now, in case of we needed security for some odd reason, would we have an agreement maybe with the village, police or somebody
Sheriff, I
to
think.
back
The sheriff,
The sheriff.
sheriff?
You'd have to have the sheriff, cause
Yeah.
this is out of the,
So that wouldn't be paid though, would it? I mean, would they have to pay him or?
we're already
Or
paying.
they can, we can
Probably
always-
not if you don't take advantage of it, like if.
No,
you pay for
once
them
in a
every
while,
meeting,
if
but
you
there's
so
something-
happen to need something, then you just call them and have them come in.
Yeah.
That's fine, yeah.
I think we should know whether we've stirred.
Yeah, yeah,
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not.
no,
We don't have any pitchforks and torches and. Anything more on that, on the general fund outside? I know, Linda, you did have a question on the interfund transfer.
Yeah, I'm still looking at that.
Okay, did you see the email that I forwarded to you from, an opinion from John? I thought I forwarded it.
You did,
There is in one of the paragraphs a discussion of the interfund transfer.
yes.
I don't-
But he confirms that you have, it's a borrow, it's not a,
I didn't see that he said it was a borrow. You thought it was because it was passed by the board that it was.
well, it was, so we did it, and it's okay to do it. But according to the state comptroller's office,
You
to
gotta
the
pay it
auditor,
back.
I called and asked, and
Right.
she said you have to pay it back.
Yep.
You don't pay it back with interest if it's.
So
say
how does that happen? That's fine. I'm not disagreeing with you. How do we accomplish that?
You're gonna have to you're gonna have to put something in the DB, if we used it. If we didn't use it, it doesn't matter, because we didn't physically move the money.
Right.
We just said if we need it, we're gonna take money. If
Mhm.
DB needs it, we're gonna take money from B and
So-
cover their bills. If they didn't use it, the money never got physically moved.
So what we have to look at and see if there was anything assigned to that particular line?
If in DB,
Mm-hmm.
we had to dip into that $200,000 to cover expenses, then in DB, we need to budget money to pay back to the B fund. So if you look at DB,
Yep.
right now, we have, well, it looks like we've spent $441,000, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We, with that 90, to me, it doesn't look like we've used it.
Doesn't to me either.
So as long as we finish the year and we haven't had to dip into that, we didn't go over,
Okay.
and we didn't have to use that money if we ended
Right.
up extra, then we're all set. We don't have to do anything.
Okay.
Because we didn't physically take $200,000 from an B fund
No.
account and move it and put
All right.
B in the bank.
Gotcha.
If we touch that money, we're gonna have to budget it, we're gonna have to take money out of DB and pay it back. And technically, it's supposed to be done before the end of the year, but I don't know how you do that if you use that like.
We haven't used it by now. And how do you budget for it?
We haven't used it by now, we freeze the spending so that we don't use it, then we don't have to worry about it. If you do that same move, which you can do, like the A fund has extra money, the B fund needs it during the budget year.
Yeah, I know
You
that.
can move it, but you gotta pay it back with interest.
See, I knew that going from A to B was an issue. I didn't necessarily. No, you got that opinion.
I didn't either, and that's why I called the state and asked.
I know. So somehow we're going to freeze that money. I don't know. I have to make sure that nothing gets assigned without it, Problem is invoices come in depending on how they get coded.
Yeah, well, let's see.
But
So 678. So what muddies the water is there was also $225,000 reserve put in there.
Yeah.
I don't think we're gonna touch the 200.
reserve came out of it.
The reserve is a reserve, it's just taxed in that.
That's correct.
Right. So I can't imagine that we're gonna,
Needed 200,000 in transfer and touch that.
yeah, because the maintenance, well, depending, is there anything else coming in?
Well, I don't know. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, I guess we need to know from Dale, is he spending any more money for the maintenance of roads, because that's the one that's way under right now.
Mhm. Well, any approval for any large expenditure would have to, as long as it's been approved already, we shouldn't do anything else unless it's been approved.
Right.
We should have control of it. It's something I'll have to make sure he has come to us. He wants that plow and he wants to salt boxes. So anything he wants that would come out of that would have to go through us for approval. So I would think we'd have control of.
So assuming we have the CHIPS money, like we estimated at 240,
more, but yes, let's estimate.
Okay, so if you take the taxes we collected, plus all the other revenues that we're supposed to have, well, there's sales tax in there. We budgeted $90,000 of sales tax going to this fund.
And it's actually not in this fund, right?
Well, that's not where the check went that we got, but I don't know, should it be in this one?
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, in
let's-
past years, it doesn't look like it did, and now it's in the general fund town road.
well, it looks like
Yeah.
it has been going into DB, and then all of a sudden, the
Yeah.
actuals for 23 and 24 have the 99,000 in there.
Mhm.
So that would tell me that's probably where it's supposed to be.
You know, sales tax should be in that sales tax line and not in other tax items on the A.
Right, so you think that number, that sales tax amount should be in DB?
Yeah,
Okay, so if you move that, right, and that brings us to just under
oh,
704,000.
wait a minute, should it be in DB? Should it be in highway? Sales tax should be in general, shouldn't it?
Mm.
That's a town-wide, that sales tax is
Yeah,
town-wide. Or it should be in B, one of the two. It's our share of the sales tax out of the area. I mean, it's not a lot compared to what they collect, but that's what we get from the county.
Does the county pay the village separately though, do
So
they?
yes, they do. I have a schedule someplace what everybody gets.
Maybe it would be townwide or not?
Everybody gets a piece of the, might be a call to, I can ask Brian where he puts it.
And I'll check with the state on Monday
All right.
and ask them if there's a right or wrong.
I would think it either goes in townwide or it shouldn't go into highway.
No,
It should either go,
the general,
it goes in the general, either A or B.
Well,
yeah.
I guess if it doesn't go in highway,
I mean, why should highway get all the sales tax?
if it doesn't go there though, it's a little disappointing that LGSS
Right.
doesn't budget it there.
I got a lot of disappointment with LGSS, but you know,
They were probably told to put it there.
well,
So let's just, so if we take that out.
yeah, let's play and see what happens.
So if we take that out. We will have, without the 200, okay, so let's take the take the
Okay.
200 transfer out. And without the sales tax, we will have collected $614,000 in revenue.
Okay,
And right now, we have spent, I'm sorry, we budgeted 679,000 of expenses, so we'd be about $70,000 short, which can come out of the 225.
yes,
So the 200
can be saved.
can be saved and we don't have to do anything because we didn't, as long as there's nowhere where they physically moved the money, which you have to ask Margaret whether, I can't imagine why you would have done that until you needed it, but I don't know what
Yeah.
would have happened before us, since we couldn't see anything. Now, when I say that, that's assuming that we spend every penny of what we budgeted. He has not done that yet. Right now, our current spending in that fund is only 441,000.
And that was, remind me, which line is that again? I was writing some notes here.
Which line is what, the 200?
Well, the 440, okay. I see.
That's all,
That's
that's
the
all
total
the,
expenditure,
it's the
yep.
total expenditures for the DB fund so far year to date.
Yep.
So if we control the spending, we won't have touched the 225 or the 200.
I still can't believe though that we have as much left.
Well, the 220,
And I don't believe, if I'm looking, we budgeted in the maintenance road 210, there's only 88 in there at this time of the year.
the 200 was only moved in
I know,
to cover the 225 reserve that he wanted it
I
for some
understand
reason.
that, yeah. But I'm just saying, it's hard for me to believe that we only spent the 441 so far.
Again, you have to kind of rely on the.
Well, I just wonder, well, you got to rely that everything's been turned in.
Yeah.
And that's, and I know Single Source has been doing a pretty good job of, you
It's
know,
the current report as of right now. Oops, not DA, I want DB. So we spent, so they must have added a little bit. We spent 495,000 so far.
yeah.
The DB.
Mm-hmm. So we have 119,000 roughly that we could still spend
And still not
and
touch
still not touch.
225.
Or the, yeah, right.
And that makes me.
Because the 225 and the 200 basically go together. So
tied
yes,
together.
as long as we don't
Touch
touch the
the
225, we don't have to touch.
25 of it, then we can wash out the 200.
Correct. Correct.
Okay.
Correct. So if we stay under 120,000 for the rest of the year,
I think we should freeze that.
Yeah, that's a note that I'm making.
We need to freeze that. We may need that.
you'd like to think that most of the road construction would be done.
Yeah,
Now,
it's
right?
November, almost November.
Well, they did do some work just recently, and I don't know that those bills, they did, Santa did some work on Sanderson Road, they did some other work. I don't know whether that's hit the books yet.
Probably
But
not.
going forward after whatever's been done right now, we shouldn't, right? Because
Should be a whole lot
weather
of
gets
should be
cold
done.
to be able to.
So maybe we can chase a few of those bills and see where we stand.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely need to freeze it for now.
I'll tell you what I'm not comfortable with in the DB fund though is the, the fact that we only have $35,000 left.
I'm not comfortable with that either.
So I think
There's still, I didn't look though, with 35 in the money market, I didn't see how much we left in the New York class DB, which we transferred so much. The other part of this is how much is left in the cash.
so. Maybe we can look at that before Tuesday because
Absolutely. Oh, that's like,
we might have to put a a contingency in here to build a little bit of.
yep. Well, that's what I've
cushion
said
in
before, that we may have to
That's
put it,
not,
and that was it's a question mark on that, because I do feel that we are gonna have to put some in. Now,
yeah,
but also, you were correct last time. I went back and looked. We knocked down the 210, 50,000, not on the,
yeah, we knocked it down to 50,
51.
not 250.
that's right.
Yeah, so,
So I put in the sheets that I handed out, 160 back, down 50 from the 210 that was budgeted last year.
Now, which one is that?
That's DB 5110.4.
maintenance of roads. Yeah, that just 50 seemed awfully
It
low.
was.
Yeah,
I took it off as sheet,
Yeah.
but I took the wrong number there.
yeah.
So what's that number gotta be?
160.
It's a reduction of 50 from the 210 that was budgeted.
Mm-hmm.
And because of the additional work that was done, I don't really know. We see that so far year to date, there's 88 in there, but I know they did work, so I don't know how close we are.
Well, all the greater paving's been paid. Well, I saw them in the bills. So.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what they did. Like I say, they just, last week,
Yeah.
they did Sanderson, they did a couple of Letts. They did some other work. I don't know how much material, I don't know how much labor went into that. That should be hitting the sheets here
Mm-hmm.
the next, hopefully those bills come in before we set budget so we know. We'll see. Of course, we can always, the other thing too, once we set preliminary, we go through the public We can always make a final change to it if we have to,
Yes.
something like that.
Mm-hmm. So I'm sorry, we went from B to DB. Did you want to, because of that 200 we skipped, do you want to go back to the DA fund? Kind of. For me, I guess the key on this one, there's not a lot there, but other than the repairs
Mhm.
or contractual machinery, 5130.4, Ed, you know, we've been running higher, but if we're
You got
getting
two
two
new
new
trucks.
trucks, but if he's gonna end up keeping one that, I mean, I don't know, that's gotta be a call from Dale to say, what does he think he's gonna spend there?
Well, we did knock it down from 100,
Yeah.
to 60. Um, we've cut him short on the equipment reserve. He's gonna have to fix equipment.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
my key, for me personally though,
Yeah.
I want the department heads to tell us, is that gonna be a number? I don't wanna, cause as soon as we tell somebody this is what you have, then it comes back to
I'll
you
sit with
cut
him
my-
again.
You know, I think he's gotta tell us, is that a reasonable?
I'll sit
Just
with him
like,
again.
you know, Darlene tells us this is what she needs,
Well, we did it once.
and
I'll go
then,
back through
you know,
it again.
these
So.
numbers really should be coming from the departments, not,
Mm-hmm.
well, the cabin chassis that they took the plow and box out, that was the major, he stated that was a major issue of all the expense and repairs.
Yeah. Well, you got a tractor out there that needs work. You got other stuff I've seen out there with,
Yeah,
you know, we don't want to buy a new tractor.
no,
And there's oil leak, and I think the engine and the differential on the thing, there's oil sitting underneath it. So I mean, there are repairs. I'd rather pay some repair costs instead of buying new equipment.
oh, sure.
So unfortunately, we don't have, I get the opinion that we don't have a lot of, I want to be, no, I think they are, just some things are beyond the current staff to fix, according to Dale.
You know,
So that means it's got to go out.
we never used to go out.
Well, all I can do is that, you know, there's nothing I can do with this meeting right now to address that,
No,
and nor can we. Uh, um,
but I still think we only need 5 trucks, 4 10-wheelers and a 6-wheel.
Well, I'm still trying to arrange a tour and let him try to sell you on it. I mean,
He's not gonna sell it. We've never had that many trucks. We don't. You
Well,
bought 2 brand new ones, you gotta get rid of 2 of them.
yeah. Well, like I say, I'm trying to still
Yeah.
arrange. Okay, it's a decision that again, how much we can press, and certainly in terms of, I don't know where the role of the board resides in telling the superintendent what to sell or what not to sell. Now, I know we have fiscal responsibility, but he has, like labor, he has all the responsibility over labor. I don't know what the rules are, and I'll have to look in terms of us demanding that he sell something or not sell something. I don't know. And so I'll check into what is our ability.
well, maybe we can't do that, but obviously there's only so much money we can allocate to repairing things.
That's correct.
That's what I'm looking
That's,
at.
we can control that.
Right,
But in terms of mandating that he sell something or not sell something, I don't know.
yeah, well, that's why the walkthrough would be good for me, because,
Absolutely.
you know, it just kind of refreshes, as I've said a million times, that is not my strength.
No, well, you
So,
saw the
I
emails.
need
I'm
to
trying.
see, yep, I need to see it.
Been a back and forth all day, so I'm trying to put something together between everybody's appointments and schedules. So far, it hasn't happened. I'll continue.
Well, that's why hopefully Tuesday at like 5 o'clock works.
I hope.
Because,
Yeah.
Now that list of stuff he wants to auction off, that's gotta be approved by the board also.
Oh, yeah. that can't be just done,
No.
but, again, I think that's where the walkthrough and the discussion really needs to
Yeah,
happen with the
yeah.
meeting. Those are things that I can't decide for the board. The board needs to decide, and it would be nice if it was Tuesday, because John Massidi would be here too.
Yeah, yeah.
So we'd have a whole board, so I will continue to work on that and see if we can't get that set up, okay?
Okay, so I'm gonna,
I will consult with Dale on Monday over DA 5130.2.21 and .4 and see if he buys off on those numbers or not. So I will talk to him about that on Monday.
okay, so let's go back to the DA, I guess.
That's where I'm at, is the DA 5130, those three lines.
Oh, sorry, yes, yep.
I will talk to him about those.
So again, we're still missing some income, it looks like. Not very much.
Unclassified, I don't have that either, I don't know what that is. County for mowing, I put that in because we took the plowing out of there and moved that.
We are dipping into, we are dipping in right now where we stand if we didn't spend another dime. We're dipping into using some of the appropriated fund balance. Here's where the balancing act comes in.
Mm-hmm.
So while we're talking about next year, putting 100,000 of appropriated fund balance in,
Mm-hmm.
that to me brings us awfully low. But we also said we're going to use 305,000 this year that we haven't dipped into.
Mm-hmm.
So while the 100 makes it look like we're dipping low into our reserve, if we haven't used the 300, we still actually have the 300. That's where it gets dicey with not really budgeting for true expenses and revenues and constantly putting in a fund balance number that really distorts.
I take the fund balance number out until the final budget. Wouldn't you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the problem is we don't know. We have to really determine. It's why it would be nice to know. So where is he? If we can find out from Dale, it would be really helpful if he could do this, and maybe he can. I don't know, but where is he with spending on the DA fund too? Because
Well, that's what I'm talking about. Those three. You mean the spending?
where he is right now for this year, is he going to spend any more? Because he's at 564. He budgeted 896. Right. So if we aren't going to use that difference, that means
There will be cash left in the.
right. And using 100 of fund balance doesn't make me nervous. But if we've used everything and there's nothing going to come extra this year, I don't want to dip into what we have left.
100%. I don't think we have all the numbers yet. That's
Yeah.
my only concern, because so much of that was tied to the truck. I haven't shown up, or I don't see it.
Well, and I think this snow is going to be.
Now, the plowing is not. I don't see. I don't see that as much of an issue. We have a pretty good idea.
We could go over though if we have it, depending on when the snow starts to fly.
You could throw some, and that's why I still.
So he might use a little bit of that fund balance.
He might.
Yep.
So the other issue for me really is still, I'm not sure we've accounted for those trucks completely yet. And it's because I don't see, when I look at this, I see line equipment reserve 5130.21 showing that we budgeted 267 and it says actual only 13. That was where the truck was supposed to come out of. So there's some, I gotta go back and look and see why is it showing that we still have that much left.
Didn't he use a lot of, he used all the, chips to do, didn't he, for?
Well, a little bit of the chips, but not enough to pay for everything.
No,
There
but.
still shouldn't be that much left in the one.
So whatever's being done in Albany right now,
Or in Watertown.
or Watertown, wherever he is with it,
That may.
how much is that going to be? Because that
Well,
still, I'm sure still hasn't.
Yeah.
We approved it when he bought it, right? I mean, we approved the plow box and the truck. That should be on record.
You did, and it's there, but what I'm more concerned about, has it come in?
Have we gotten the bills yet?
Have the
Well, we
bills
told
come
them
in?
that
Well, yeah.
we need
When
to
I
know
look
when
at the
the bills
actuals,
are
that
gonna
I'm a
be here
little
this
Well,
year.
concerned.
sure, yeah.
That's my concern, is that I don't know that the actuals are truly reflecting what our expenses have been
Well, I
to date.
think,
Yeah.
So I gotta sit down with them. I got 5132, 21, and 4,
Yep.
that I gotta sit down with Dale on Monday and talk to him. Not only is he, comfortable with the numbers, the zeros we put in for machinery and equipment reserve, but also the 60 for repair, but also to talk to him about where are we to date, um, on expenditures in those same lines, so we know whether we're gonna have anything left at the end of the year.
So, I, maybe Margaret has explained this already to you, but so on the cash sheet, we have, it has an actual reserve. But in the ledger here, it says equipment reserve. Is that a real reserve, or is that just, like, did we,
I don't know.
okay, because we need to know whether, if
Yeah.
we put $267,000 in that budget and said we're reserving that much money, we have to
Use it for equipment.
put it in here and keep it.
Mhm.
That's what I guess. Or was it just a line where we
Do you
said,
feel like making that call to Margaret?
Margaret, I can,
Would you?
yeah.
'Cause sometimes it gets lost coming through me in the translation.
I'm not sure she's gonna know. She may or may not know.
She may or may
I
not
don't
know.
but-
John will know.
Okay.
Now, would there have been a down payment requirement on that truck in the box? Plow?
No,
We
I don't
never
think it
got
was a
no-
down payment. No, we did get some bills for it, and that's why I don't
Well,
understand.
yeah, we
We-
need to find out exactly.
You already
total.
approved 197 for
Yeah.
and that check went through.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's not, again, I gotta track that down.
The 197, I think, is in here.
It
was
is.
97 in the DA and 97
So we may have,
in DB, I think. It
so
went
we
in-
may not need all of this money.
Yeah, that's another question I guess we should, that I didn't think of at the time. Can we split a truck payment between two funds?
Oh, well, we took some money out of chips. You could do that, and that was one of the things I've gotta get for.
Yeah, but who pays for the trucks, I guess is what I'm asking. So maybe because brush and weed is here and so, so they were able to split it between the two, the DA and DB. I just want to make sure we legally, we
Mhm.
did something that was
Equipment.
legal and not illegal.
Boy. So the question is legal.
I have to call Lou on that sales tax, so I'll ask her about that too.
Okay.
Lou's the state auditor. Okay,
State
state.
Association of Towns.
No,
No, she's a.
comptroller.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Yeah, she's the
Perfect.
one that comes in and audits us.
Yeah.
Don't ask her down here.
No, well, don't make me mad and I won't have to do it.
It wouldn't hurt.
Oh, listen to you threatening me.
It wouldn't hurt.
No,
it
that's not,
wouldn't hurt
that's
to-
just a statement.
It wouldn't hurt to have her come in again.
Well,
No,
No, but
please, right
so
now, we
she-
don't have time.
she directs
No.
us. She will advise us on how.
I know.
Yes,
And
that's why I
and
asked her.
I'm happy to have,
And I want to do it the way she says it needs to be done. So that,
absolutely. I don't want to get into a situation where we're not following the rules
Yeah,
on this thing at
yeah.
all.
So
We've
let's
had
just,
enough of that.
just make sure we did.
So,
More audits, the better, as far as I'm concerned.
yeah.
That's because you're not the one on
No,
the end
sit
of
in
having to
here.
put everything
No.
together.
They, you keep track of what the hell's going on, that's what that's the main thing.
I think, you know what, let us get things straightened out and then they can come in a little bit.
Well, yeah, but
If you bring them in,
they can help out,
if you bring them in here this year, I'm going on a very long vacation.
they can help out in fixing it too, I mean, they did a lot already, so, yeah.
I think Tahiti's calling me or something. So we want to know whether you're going to ask whether it's legal to split a truck into DA.
Yeah, I'm just gonna ask how that works. If that's what we did, was it okay to do?
Yep.
Or
Okay,
do we have to correct something?
so that put Linda by that one. And I'll talk to Dale on Monday on some of the other expenses and those line items, whether he's good for 2026.
Okay, what do we wanna, what do we wanna do on lighting? Cause we haven't really,
Do we have much there? I haven't.
I think we looked at it and saw that lighting, I think I figured out the other night, lighting was gonna be closer to 6,000.
Yeah,
I'd feel better like maybe taking that down to 7,
Where's that at?
the special, he might not have printed it.
No, I don't think
it should be.
You want me
They
to
should.
copy?
No, no, I
Should
got,
be
I
the
got it
same.
from the last.
I didn't. do
Oh,
the
it's on the
special
front
meeting.
page,
It's on the front
Ed.
page.
Oh,
Front
yeah,
page.
all right, yeah. Oh, yeah, there it is.
So, I'd feel comfortable. I don't see the need to.
Put the 10.
So the 40,
Yeah, if we're current, I think this year, hold on, I can look real quick.
the 47 is, what we, so far we paid. And we got,
Yeah, I'm gonna look right now. Give me 1 second. Because there's still some bills, obviously a couple more bills to come in.
Yes.
But, okay, so they're in here as 2 separate, so sorry. So,
Right.
lighting 1 is at 3,600 right now, and that's through, so the end of August. So we have 4 more
4 more
months,
months, yeah.
and it, so, but even if you average that,
Mhm.
36 divided by 8, right? It's about 450.
Yeah, that doesn't show up on this, on the front page, but sorry.
That's okay.
No, we got it in the last one he gave us the other day.
Yeah,
We got
it
it.
is, but I didn't have it.
Okay, so it's about another $1,800, right?
So you're
So that's about 5,400. Just to be sure, because the rates could go, the costs could go up as we get closer to the end of the year.
Yes,
Because the lights will be on longer.
I'm okay with that.
So I'd like to drop it to like 7.
Sure.
If that's too high, we can always drop it again next year.
Sure.
But
So
that's for
That's
1.
For 1, yeah.
So you want to drop the budget on lighting district 1 from
Yep.
10,250 to
7.
7. Okay.
All right, and then let me look at 2
Actual, yeah.
and see where that one is. And 2 is at 800. Oh, something's not right there. 826. That can't be that. We must have missed. Oh, that's only.
No.
Yeah, they look like they're mixing some bills in there. So, you want me to just let Margaret know about that when I talk to her?
Sure.
That they got to look at lighting too.
Yeah, because it's only at what, 575, where at least on this last week's was 575.
Yeah, so I think that one will be able to come down some.
Yeah.
I just don't know what yet.
Find it, Ed?
Yeah, it's right here.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe it wouldn't be as much as Shelby Center, that's for sure. A bit less. We had equipment, expense in some of that. I'll call her up, from National to make sure our equipment is all paid off.
Oh, good.
Yeah, and
All right.
maybe ask her what
Yeah,
they must be able to kind of
I'll give her
estimate.
a call Monday.
Yeah, because the new bills should be, as you said the other night, should be
Yeah.
reflecting the LEDs that were put in, right?
Yeah, should be. Oh, yeah, yeah. But we had an equipment charge on, it should be done already, as far as I know.
Okay.
But I wanna make sure.
All right.
and maybe just ask her what she would expect the two districts to be for annually,
Yeah,
each
total.
one of them, yeah.
Yeah.
If they can probably give us a better estimate than.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
What time Tuesday?
Well,
6.
6, and hopefully I can
Meeting.
do a tour at 5, so I can, we'll be working, hopefully you get some information, I get some information, Ed gets some information, and Tuesday night we can get this thing to bring it to a head, to a tentative, and turn it over to Darlene so she can post it as a preliminary on Wednesday. And then at that point,
She can hand it to us,
yep,
right?
We gonna be in here or in there?
I think Tuesday night we'll probably, I don't have any idea, I think we'll
Is
run
it
it,
court night?
I think that's a court night.
then it's gonna be in here, so.
Were the missing water deposits ever found?
The missing water,
Yeah, you said there were some payments that should have been made and that you couldn't track them before. That was in the last.
Oh, was that to the village? No.
no, water payments have all, unless there's a misunderstanding, water payments have been made. We've been behind at times to the village. I think we're pretty current on them. And the same thing to Heartland. I think those are all.
Maybe the confusion was, I think I mentioned we hadn't seen a water bill from Royalton
Royalton.
in several months, but I
Yeah.
believe in the last set of bills,
It's came.
there were three bills
That
in
might
there.
be-
I don't know whether they didn't send them or they send them and they somehow got lost in
I don't know, but they're
handling,
here.
but we have them.
We have them, and Margaret's been doing some calculations on those. She was, looking at those in terms of volume billing, and she did come up with something on Friday. I haven't had a chance to look exactly, but I think she's doing a pretty good job. I know she was working with Beth also on Friday. So,
Yeah, I did go back and listen to the 29th, the meeting on the 29th.
mhm.
And it does sound like from Dale, from what he said that night, that there are reports that can be run to give
Mhm.
volume by district.
I think that's true, so.
I know that's what Williamson told me, but Dale also said that.
Thank you.
All right.
Before we go, if I would I'd like to ask the board to reconsider the conference. I learned so much, and actually, there are things you do all the time, and then you go to conference and you learn that you shouldn't be doing it that way, and nobody knows until you do you network, you have roundtables, you meet with the Association of Towns, hunting licenses, dog licenses, the vital statistics is a very important thing. And I've gained a lot of knowledge by going that I would have learned just by not going to the
Yeah.
classes. And I think it's just
I'm
very
not saying
vital.
they're not. I'm just saying that if we get to a point where we're trying to really,
What I would like to do is
You
put
know.
that, both of them, all of them in a contingency, and just see where we are, and just say we approve them. When we have a better idea where we are financially after one of your conferences.
April.
So by the first of the year, April, we'll know much better where we are with our cash, our finances. And then I would just like to put those in a contingency, say, okay, let's take them out of and the same thing for highway. You gotta come for approval. I've always felt that way about the conferences. And that way we can evaluate them. I'd like to look at what's, be presented with what's at the conference.
Right.
You can show us what there is.
They always send out an agenda ahead of time.
I'd like to see the agenda ahead of time. I'd like to see, and actually I'd like to see a written report afterwards of what was gained.
Right.
I'd like to see that from Dale
the
also.
value to
The
the
value
town.
of the town.
Yeah.
I know that I have gained a lot by going, and And I actually did go to the Cornell Institute there, and I got my master's as a municipal clerk, the only one in Orleans County. And I gained so much by going to that. More than just being a clerk, was being about what they board. They got a big, broad knowledge of what everybody, how it all comes together. And I live my training so much every day in my job that I really feel it's a big loss if I can't.
And I knew it wasn't gonna be a popular, but I'm just looking at if, depending on where we come out for,
Can we just take with Bill's failures? Still love to have a title.
I think it's worth exploring, and
Yeah.
I think that let's bring the subject again in the full board on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Welcome to bring that up again.
we didn't have to make a change, just so you
Right,
know.
okay,
So we didn't take anything out. I was just suggesting
No.
to look at if we needed to strip something out. That
Discussion.
might
We'll
be a
have all
place
four
to-
of us. I think that John has an opinion on that. With everybody, it is
Yeah.
board after all, and everybody's opinion counts.
Okay,
And
that's fair.
so is that. So let's take a look at it.
All right.
I think we're getting a better idea of where we are financially. There's still, as I don't want to just keep rattling off, but there's still so many unknowns, as you can tell. There's still a lot of contracts I'd like to see and read, so that we know where we are in these things going forward. Unfortunately, it isn't really available. You can just put your hands on it to see those things. So
You know, the franchise, I researched that a lot this year because that was the big thing that came up with our taxes. Why are we paying? Why are we getting? And so, anyways, I ended up calling Charter.
you did,
Uh-huh.
and
Didn't get anywhere.
that's what I thought.
And anyways, I know that Dawn Allen is the one that gave me what paperwork she had on the franchise.
Oh, she does have it.
She gave me the information. I'll see if I got it. But Dawn Allen did give me.
Would you mind getting a hold of her and saving me the call,
Okay.
please, and see if she's got a franchise agreement, because it's probably for the county. Could
Right.
very well be.
Right. And I do know that the town of Berry is the only one that doesn't have it.
Because they don't.
They've never paid it because they've never cable.
There's no cable goes
No.
in. Well,
No.
then they wouldn't have a franchise agreement.
That's right. So it's us.
Well, those franchise agreements came in when cable companies were competing.
Mhm.
There's not much competition anymore.
Yeah.
And you would demand a payment from the different cable companies and pick which one would provide the best service for what kind of money they're going to pay you.
Right.
But I would definitely like to see the contract, how long it's for, because that 27,000 doesn't show up in that franchise
Right.
line.
I don't even know if it was a contract. I think it was just a paper on what the franchise did and everything, and it's all she
Get
could
what you can for
I
me,
will.
okay?
All right.
That would be good, so we know that's another line that we can, and hopefully leave the breadcrumbs for the next people that come in. This goes out, okay?
Hey.
Well, yeah, they plan on going somewhere?
Huh?
Plan on going
Tahiti, I said Tahiti, didn't I?
Eddie,
All
did
right.
you make a motion?
I should, yeah. He just
I
did.
move.
By standing up, he made up the motion.
I'll move that we adjourn the meeting.
I'll second it.
All in favor, aye.
Okay, you want a roll call there? Let's just,
All right, roll call. Minna,
Yes.
Hemingway,
yes.
Delaney.
Yep.
Motion
All
carried.
right, good work, Adam.
Meeting's over.
Does anybody want to take Timbits home?
No. There you go. You got a customer.
Who said that?